Week 2. God's presence is everything. Chapter 13. Good intentions, tragic results. After being crowned king and establishing his army, David's first major national project is to bring the Ark of the Covenant to his new capital, Jerusalem. His heart is in the right place. He wants to bring the symbol of God's presence back to the center of Israel's life. However, this chapter tells the story of his first, failed attempt, and it serves as a powerful lesson that good intentions are not enough. God's presence must be handled God's way. A breakdown of the chapter. 1. David's right desire, verses 1-4. David consults with all his leaders and proposes bringing back the ark, which had been neglected and forgotten during Saul's entire reign. He says, "Let us bring again the ark of our God to us, for we inquired not at it in the days of Saul." This idea is celebrated by everyone. His desire to honor God and seek his presence is right and good. 2. The procession begins, verses 5-8. David gathers a massive assembly of people, and they go to retrieve the ark. They place it on a new cart, driven by two men named Uzzah and Ahio. The procession is a huge, joyful worship service, with David and all of Israel playing music and celebrating with all their might. 3. Uzzah's fatal mistake, verses 9-10. As they travel, the oxen pulling the cart stumble and the ark begins to slide. Acting instinctively, Uzzah reaches out his hand to steady the ark. Immediately, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and he smote him, because he put his hand to the ark, and there he died before God. The celebration grinds to a shocking, terrifying halt. 4. David's fear and a surprise blessing, verses 11-14. David is angry and deeply shaken by this. He becomes afraid of God's power, saying, "How shall I bring the ark of God home to me?" Fearing to take the ark any further, he leaves it at the house of a man named Obed-Edom. But instead of a curse, the ark brings a blessing. The Bible notes that for the 3 months the ark was there, the Lord blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that he had. Connecting to our theme, God's presence is everything. This chapter is a profound lesson on our theme. David passionately desired God's presence, but he treated it with casual familiarity instead of holy reverence. The mistake. According to God's law, in Exodus chapter 25 and Numbers 4, the ark was to be carried only by Levites, using special poles inserted through rings on its sides. It was never to be touched. By putting it on a cart, David was copying the Philistines, 1 Samuel chapter 6, not obeying God's specific instructions. The lesson. God's presence is not a good luck charm or a mascot to be paraded around. It is holy, powerful, and dangerous when not treated with the reverence it deserves. Uzzah's death, while tragic, demonstrated to all of Israel that the presence of the Lord is awesome and must be approached on his terms, not their own. The blessing. The blessing on Obed-Edom's house showed that God's presence is still good and desirable, but it must be hosted correctly. Reflection questions for your group. 1. David's desire was good, but his method was wrong. Can you think of a time when you had good intentions but didn't go about things in a way that honored God? 2. Uzzah's death seems very harsh to us. What does this event teach us about the holiness of God? Why is it important not to become too casual with sacred things? 3. The same ark that brought death to Uzzah brought a blessing to Obed-Edom's house. What does this tell us about our own attitude and posture when we approach God in worship or prayer? Key takeaway for chapter 13. Desiring God's presence is the first step, but we must also seek to honor him with reverence and obedience.